What are the important considerations that you should keep in mind while preparing for an interview? Let's look at them. Questions. A questionnaire needs to be prepared to suit the violation that is being investigated. Writing a questionnaire, even if never used, will help clarify the issues in a violation and ensure that relevant information is sought from the interviewee. Documenting issues. Make a note of issues that need further clarifying or double checking as and when they arise while interviewing the witness. Issues that emerge while interviewing one witness can become questions for another witness. Exercise care in the choice of words. Avoid emotionally charged words. Use familiar day language and avoid jargon. Avoid hectic questioning. Interviewers should not express their opinion while interviewing. They should not act like prosecutors. They should be polite and allow witnesses to finish their narration. Responses. The purpose of questioning a witness is to obtain an adequate response that will help in substantiating an allegation. However, not all responses will be informative, so each response should be probed to fully clarify the matter under investigation. Take into account local and cultural patterns of speech. For example, exaggeration may be a common trait in an area, and a statement that thousands died may not be correct, but the overall testimony may be true. Interpreters. In some situations, it will be impossible to conduct an interview without the help of an interpreter. An interpreter should be a neutral person and should only be a means of communication. It is important to brief the interpreters in advance to clarify their role and explain the purpose of the interview. If interpreters get involved in the interview and ask their own questions or get involved in an argument with the interviewee, as a fact finder, intervene and stop the interpreter from doing more than translating. Use of equipment. If, as the fact finder, you decide to use equipment such as the tape recorder, camera, video camera, obtain permission from witnesses for using them to record the interview. Difficulties in using equipment should be foreseen, and contingency plans should be made to cope with the difficulties such as power failure. Let's go back to the fact-finding report on Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh and review some of the principles discussed. Your task is to review and identify the following. Examine the section on methodology. How did the fact-finding team deal with the issue of consent? Did the fact-finding team make any preparations for interviewing victims of gender-based violence? How did the fact-finding team plan the interviewing process? Note that in the section on methodology, 1.2.2 discusses issues of consent. Note that although the informants gave consent regarding the use of their names in the report, the fact-finding team, considering the security risk, decided not to use their names. These issues of taking informed consent and assessment of risk are very important. Note in section 1.2.3.2, role assignment, that the mission was divided into 3 groups. One group, led by a woman, had the responsibility of interacting exclusively with women, including survivors of sexual violence. This planning is important. Women survivors of sexual violence may not be comfortable to talk about their experience with men. Part 1 of the Annex 1 to the report describes the division of roles and responsibilities. This is an example of good practice. Designating one person to act as the lead helps in making the interview process smooth. This also enables the other members of the team to follow the conversation, take notes, and ask supplemental questions that the lead may have missed. Part 2 of the Annex 1 lists the objectives and the same questions against the objectives. Note that the objectives identify the elements that are to be examined, such as egregious forms of human rights violations, type and quality of essential services available, emergency response services, and how the refugees see their future. The questions are framed so that the information can be collected regarding these elements. Part 2 of the Annex 1 lists the objectives and the same questions against the objectives. Note that the objectives identify the elements that are to be examined, such as egregious forms of human rights violations, type and quality of essential services available, emergency response services, and how the refugees see their future. The questions are framed so that the information can be collected regarding these elements. Let's look at a sample interview that will summarize the best practices of the interview process. Your organization has received information that a day ago a man had been picked up by the police, after which the man was found dead. Your organization has asked you to interview the family to get more information. You have decided to interview the 19-year-old daughter of the man at his home. How is the interview going to flow?
Hello, I am from the organization Brights Now. We provide legal aid to those who need it. We heard about the death of your father and wanted to know if we could help you and your family in any way. I know you must be very disturbed at the moment. May I take some time to speak with you?
Okay.
Thanks. Could you tell me what happened on the 26th?
The police picked up my father from his shop in the evening. In the morning, we heard that his dead body was found.
Do you know why he was picked up by the police?
Yes, the police said that they were conducting an investigation in another incident.
What incident?
My father had a dispute with another shop owner at the market. A few days ago, there was a physical quarrel. We heard that the shop owner had filed a complaint with the police.
Do you know around what time your father was picked up?
Yes, around 8 p.m. Mr. A regular customer, was present at the time he was picked up. He informed us.
After Mr. A informed you all, what happened?
So he informed us, but he was not sure about which police station my father was taken to. So we first went to the police station of the area in which we lived. We made inquiry there, but my father was not seen there. Then we went to the police station in the market area. The officer in charge said that my father had been picked up for inquiry and would be released the next day. They did not let us meet my father. We wanted to wait at the police station, but the police asked us to go home.
After that, what happened?
We came back home in the night. Early next morning, a neighbor informed us that my father's body had been found in the field nearby. We rushed there, and my father's body was there in the field. There was blood on his forehead, and it seemed that his legs were broken as well. The police came. They took his body for examination.
Was it the same police as the ones who had picked up your father?
No, these were policemen from the police station in the area in which we live.
What happened next?
The police said that it appeared that father had been assaulted. We told them that he had been detained in the police station the previous night. The police asked us to make inquiries at the concerned police station. So we went there, and the officer in charge said that they had released my father in the night itself.
Was he the same officer with whom you had spoken to earlier when you went to meet your father at the police station?
No, he was a different person.
After that, what happened?
Nothing. We are waiting to receive the body of my father. We are in shock. We don't know what happened.
Did anyone take any photographs of the body of your father?
Yeah, the neighbors did so.
Well, it seems that this could be a case of torture in detention. We have to find out more. Here are the various things that could be done.
Note, the interviewer began with giving an introduction. In most cases, a local contact may be present who may make the first introductions. However, it is advisable that the interviewer also gives an introduction and explains why the interview is being conducted. Also note that the interviewer starts with open-ended questions, letting the informant describe the event in his own words, and then follows up with specific questions to gather clear facts. Also note that at the end, the interviewer shares about the steps that could be taken to get a remedy. In such case, it is important to let the families know about what happens next or ways in which you and your organization can provide support.